Let me remind you that palliatives cannot address the root cause of the problem. Therefore, we demand that you address the root cause of the problem. Take the yoke off the neck of the poor, go after the looters, recover the loot, and retool it to the benefit of Nigerians. In simple terms, Mr. President, kill corruption, not Nigerians. By placing military invasion on the table from the very start, before subsequently exploring diplomatic options with the coup plotters in the Republic of Niger, President Tinubu once again put the cart before the horse, thus placing Nigeria and the sub-region in a precarious situation. While we condemn the spate of coup d'etats in West Africa, we recognize that the situation calls for deep introspection on the part of African leaders and makes even more urgent the case for good governance. The call upon Nigeria at this time is not so much to compel submission in the sub-region through the force of might, but to command alignment through exemplary governance. Considering the reported claims by the DSS that his actions were in line with an order from above, the handling of the Emefiele case has sent a signal to the world that the current president's disposition to the war against corruption is primarily motivated by a clampdown on perceived political adversaries, while various other enemies of Nigeria remain untouched. The same can be said of the detention of the suspended chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa. Today, Bawa is being held in detention by the DSS, while Bello Matawale, a former governor that Bawa had been investigating, has been nominated by the president as a minister. Once again, if Bawa is indicted in any criminal investigation, then the lawful thing to do is to prosecute him. To continue to hold him in detention in these circumstances raises significant concerns about the readiness of the Tinubu administration to fight corruption. Its fellow citizens, at the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians, and in recent times by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mr. President, it is through your influence that the Nigerian National Assembly has become a haven for legislative rascality. Mr. President, it's under your watch that the National Assembly has become an extension of the executive, grossly violating the principles of separation of powers and rubber stamping the whims and caprices of your office, all while singing the international anthem of sycophants on your mandate, which shall stand. Mr. President, thanks to your political machinations, Nigeria is now bedeviled by a captured National Assembly, the most ineffective in its checks and balances role since the start of the Fourth Republic. In 2006, the Fourth National Assembly had the audacity to reject the tenure exemption bid of a sitting president. In 2010, the Sixth National Assembly summoned the courage to stand against the power hijacking cabal and restore Nigeria to the path of constitutionality by invoking the doctrine of necessity. In 2011, the House of Representatives of the Seventh National Assembly had the courage to elect its leaders, as did the Senate of the Eighth National Assembly in 2015, defying executive interference. This National Assembly, the 10th, has by its unconstitutional endorsement of the president's abuse of powers proven to be the most spineless in our recent history. Through its actions and inactions, the National Assembly has in effect become the 48th member of the president. I had the privilege of sharing some words with Mr. President. That's not my reason for being here. On the 4th of June, I was eating lunch with my friend, Mr. Fola Adeola, at the Metropolitan Club. He's the youngest president of Metropolitan Club in the history of that
club. And he's done so well. People have been congratulating him. Chief Emeka Anyaoku said, look, if it's possible to give you another term with what you have done. So he's been echoing that. I said, okay, I will come and see what you have done. So I went in there for lunch. It was in the course of the lunch that phone call came that the president wanted me. I didn't tell my wife before leaving home I was going to Mr. President. But one of the things I told him, please listen attentively, is that in Zion, the Bible makes it plain. The Lord is our judge. The Lord is our lawgiver. The Lord is our king. He will save us. That the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive arms of government, all the three arms of government are vested in God. But in the same passage, he said, all the inhabitants of Zion will be wild. None of them will be sick. But it is the lame that will take the prey. He said, I don't understand that. I said, I will explain it to you. You are the lame, Mr. President. I will never say publicly what I've not said privately. You are that lame man. He said, what do you mean? I said, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, with all the graces, with all the intellect, with everything that he did to be president of Nigeria, he didn't make it. He got GCFR. He was deputy chair, but he was not president of Nigeria. And look at his achievements, his accomplishment. Harold Wilson, Prime Minister of Britain, said, Awolowo has a brain capacity to run both America and UK at the same time. MKO, my God, spent and was spent, participated in an election, won the election, they nullified it, he never became president. You with all your excess baggage, I'm not trying to polish anything. There was nothing. I said I could not withstand what you withstood. Cocaine, forged certificate, no father, no. That's this warning. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now that God has given it to you, don't play God.
It's about how the country will go well. My life, personal vision is to see a nation that works in my lifetime. And those things I've discussed with Mr. President. They're not hidden things, but I've learned that when you discuss with the person in charge, you leave it with him to do whatsoever he wills with what you have suggested. So I've had a private conversation with Mr. President, and I'm glad that he received me well, and I trust that God will help our nation. What transpired in my discussion with him stays with me and with him. God guiding him and giving him wisdom will help this nation not to slide or go down the drain, but to bounce back so that it can leave a mark that cannot be erased. I like to see a peaceful nation. I like to see Nigerians being their brother's keeper. I like to see good collaboration between the best of the North and the best of the South to steer Nigeria in the right direction. I like to see predictable progress in our nation. We have danced around some subjects for too long a time. It's time to take concrete action to ensure that the mercies of our country do not live in abject poverty.